positioned along Ngong Road, 10 kilometers from Nairobi city center and at Jamhuri grounds. You see this magnificent infrastructure that defines Kenya. Talanta Stadium that will officially be named Raila Odinga International Stadium. This stadium for sure will define Kenya's infrastructure, and this infrastructure will obviously be used as a political tool. Right now, what we understand is that AFCON will be hosted at Raila Odinga International Stadium. But what are the preparations? As of now, the project is 70% complete, and by the end of 2026, externally, the stadium will be complete. However, we heard President Ruto say that this project will be complete this year by January. We are already in January, but in actuality, this project will not be completed by the end of this month, because when you look at official completion time, it is definitely next year March. So if this project will be completed next year March, that means the project would have taken 2 years, and then from there Kenya will be in a better position to host AFCON. We have Kasarani Stadium, we also have Nyayo Stadium. So these two stadia, okay, they meet to some extent, those world-class features or standards, but they're not of Raila Odinga Stadium, state or status. So when you look at Raila Odinga International Stadium, this is a mega stadium that is of the level of those stadia you see in Europe. However, what has been of controversy has been the cost, because when you look at this project, to be honest, costs Kenya 44 billion Kenyan shillings, but at the end of it, that is after 15 years, Kenya would have paid over 100 billion Kenyan shillings. So people ask a simple question, then where did we go wrong, where we just get 44 billion Kenyan shillings and we end up paying almost triple the initial cost? So people have been talking about that. But President Ruto has been saying that what is important is us having this project, which is very okay. So if this project will be completed by that time, that is March next year, then we shall always celebrate, because this is a mega project that puts Kenya on an international stage in terms of stadia. But there's one thing you also need to grasp here, the issue of infrastructure around this stadium. Now, there's always the issue of you accessing the stadium, and also the issue of you leaving. How easily can you get into Raila Odinga International Stadium, and how easily can you leave it? So if you've driven yourself along Ngong Road, you see there's a project ongoing, that is at Junction Mall. You see there's a viaduct. So that flyover, definitely it is not there just for people to enjoy, but that project also targets to ease access and evacuation from Raila Odinga International Stadium. So you've seen works going on, and also there's a move to introduce BRT, that is bus rapid transport, creating just a lane where now we have these buses, transporting people in and out of this stadium. Also, there's a move to make sure that we have some link roads, where we can have a road from this stadium to Southern Bypass. Okay, now from there, what happens? You can decide to drive yourself to Kikuyu, or you can decide to drive yourself to Langata, or even use the Southern Bypass to get yourself to Langata Road. And then from there, you can decide either to go to Ongata Rongai or Galleria, or you can decide to go to Nairobi CBD. And also there is a move to ensure that there is railway transport. On the issue of railway transport, I really do not know if the government would have made sure that by the time we host AFCON, that issue of railway would have been addressed. So that is something that we shall be waiting to see. How quickly is the government going to move to make sure that we have, proper BRT lane, we have a link road to Southern Bypass, and we also have railway transport. If that kind of infrastructure is put in place, then access and evacuation will be so easy. Also, there is another issue here that raises some eyebrows, the issue of seats. If you've seen some seats, you see guys complaining about the government's decision to promise something of a higher standard in terms of seats and delivering something that people believe it is of low quality. Just look at that photo and look at this. From there, you can see a stadium in Uganda has foldable seats, and here we don't have foldable seats. But let's see, maybe moving forward, these other sections will have foldable seats, but people expected foldable seats, in the entire stadium, because people believe that is what matches the cost of the stadium. Maybe the president will make sure that issue is addressed, because online people have really complained about that, and let's see if the government will move on to fix that kind of situation. And also, I need you to understand this stadium, in terms of the political angle and also the economic angle. Now, when you look at this project from the economic angle, you'd realize that definitely there shall be more business around that area, because people along Ngong Road will obviously find a way, to benefit from those people who will be going there, from funds and many other people that will be going to that stadium. However, what is also understood is that there will be a mall. But at the end of it, when it comes to sports are not just viewed or watched by these rich people. Even people from places such as Cuba can still give themselves to this stadium, and when they want to buy something, they can go to these stalls we see along Ngong Road. But also now, there's something I need to understand. Will the government allow these stalls, along Ngong Road to be there? Because, when you have such a magnificent or such a mega infrastructure, and then when you come to this road, you find so many stalls, to a level they have taken a lane. I don't know if there shall be evacuation of people, doing their commerce along Ngong Road. You've seen that. Now, when there's a mall and we have some small businesses here and there, and also you need to understand that, this project is just 5 to 7 kilometers away from current suburb. We have the hub. We also, on this other side, we have waterfront and all that. So business will definitely be booming from both sides, from the lower side and also high-end side. Let's see how significantly these, infrastructure will change that environment. Also, you need to look at it from a political angle. Yes, this project will be complete at the end of it. Where does it position President Ruto? It definitely places President Ruto in a competitive position where at least he has something to talk about. He would say, people say that we are not delivering, but look at the plan. We have the plan to make sure we have more stadia in the country. And look at Raila Odinga International Stadium. This is mega. And also the move to make sure that this stadium is named after Raila in itself is political. It goes to cement Raila's legacy, and it will also help President Ruto reconnect or connect with supporters of Raila Odinga. Raila himself loved sports, and this stadium is now named after him. And President Ruto will be seeking re-election in 2027. Definitely when he will be going to strongholds that are believed to have leaned, towards Raila politically, he will always talk about that stadium. So that is a sharp and effective political tool for President Ruto. All in all, what we accept is that this stadium will definitely change even how we view sports, and it will ensure that most of us now start enjoying, going to this stadium to watch sports, because most cases people have just been going to Kasarani and Nyayo Stadium, where now sometimes people feel that when you go to such kind of stadia, violence is likely to happen. But I am certain when it comes to this Raila Odinga International Stadium, the government will put some rules in place to make sure that If you do any vandalism, then you will be heavily punished. Also, the comfort around and inside this stadium makes it easy for people to enjoy going to that stadium to watch sports, and if not even watching, just to have the feel of the atmosphere of Raila Odinga International Stadium. All in all, this is a mega infrastructure for Kenya, and it puts Kenya competitively with other world-class stadia.